Hi everyone, this is an updated tutorial on how to integrate progressive AI with Easy Spherewall RPG. To begin, we need to open two classes. These are an Easy Character Base and Progressive AI, which is base. First we add the data E component and the main variables from base. The main variables we have are spintabular handle all that is in the quip action spline index sub action class projectile save. Compile. Now we need to call the initialization event on begin play. For convenience, let's divide the logic a little bit so that it will be more clear. Let's deliver a variable. Next, we need to add the #data interface. Now open the damage taken function and add here a new event error to image from player. The instigator in this case will be this variable. Next, we need to open our date component and add one simple variable to it. Let's assume we take it from the NPC. It should be active by default. Now we find our character class. In it we disable this variable to further split the logic between the character and the NPC. Next we need to find the death function. Here we call our newly created variable somewhere from the NPC. Split. That is, if we have this is not a player, but an NPC, then we call this event, it will be a little bit different. Now we're going to tidy this up a little bit. Here I would do it like this. And on false. On false, we call the timer. So for players, we have a fairly standard logic that we are used to. If it's an NPC, it triggers a different branch of logic. Pillar controller is instigated. Next, we need to open the function. Find the variable getLive, not boolean. In our character class we need to find the function. Here, in the most recent branch. I think this is the place to do it. Report the match event and report this event. Here we add hit location. Here we have instigator damage vector. We have local vector. Yes, that's right. Now we can change the controller to a progressive. Now we need to go to the structure, this is metadata, and replace our class. Harder base reference class. After this action, we need to save everything. After that we need to go to NPC spun. Here we will see some small errors, which we will fix now. We need to change the spunector b of this variable with pountains. We also need to change this to character base. Adding it again. Here in this case are casts to the character base class because of the progression, but this is not really the most reliable way to do it. My suggestion is to change that. We're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to take it out of here. Pests. Hector Hestig. Player. Varanch. Let's do it this way. From an optimization point of view, this is a more correct and rational way of spun. Now we need to go to the progressive controller. In this function we need to replace this variable. Again we go to the power base. On the event graph we see here these interfaces that contain the tag logic. We can copy them completely and add them to the character base class. You can add them anywhere you want. Here we create a new variable. Same here. Refresh. Refresh. In tags, we add just one tag, and that's player. In constant X we also add just one tag, that's player. Constant tags are variables that contain tags that will not change throughout the game. So, for example, you will always remain a player. Now we can go to the enemy data table. We can delete everything unnecessary from it. As we can see, here we have characters from Easy Swerve. We can add any test character. For example, anded. His name. Health is not regulated here, not in this table. This row is only necessary for the v.5 progression asset. Your character's health control remains where it was, which is directly in the character itself. Mid-East combat. A state he will have for the check, he will be aggressively standing, that is, he will start attacking only at the state when he sees some aggressive target for him. We can put in any tag we want, for example it will be aggressive. For an example, I suggest going to the demo single-player map and adding our character. For example, here. Here we add from the table who it is exactly. This checkbox, all is fine, spun, is responsible for whether this NPC is always spun or not. That is, if we check this checkbox, it will always spawn, regardless of where the player is. If this checkbox is off, it will spawn at a given distance and disappear at a given distance. If it is active, these variables are not involved. Let's put this to the test. Let's set it to 1000. At this point, our character should attack all targets around him because they are another tag in relation to him. That is, this system is governed specifically by tags. All NPCs are grouped by the same tag. If they see a similar tag to each other, then they see that target as friendly. If they see a different tag, or no tag at all, then they see the target as hostile. In this case, all other NPCs do not have this tag, and the player has this tag. Therefore the NPC will be hostile to everyone. Also a small correction is that sometimes some variables may not be updated. For example, in this case our undead didn't want to change the controller and left it as default. We need to change it to progressor. As we can see, he just spun up and started attacking all the NPCs in front of him. We can see his status here, his controller, his tasks. If we attack him, he will switch to a target hostile to him. Next, he continued his state to search for other targets. In order for the NPC to beat more accurately, all the control happens in the data AI component. I apologize, this is located in the controller. You can also control the thickness and length of the attack in the data AI component on start attack events. Here we see the radius of the attack. For clarity, we can put, for example, 20. You can see that it has a much larger radius. The length of the attack is adjustable, and all the behavior is exactly the attack in this table. Here you set the mounting animation. This is the range at which it starts attacking. Play this animation. I don't recommend I leave it at 150, this is more optimal. But if you want, for example, that the NPC accelerated, that is, to start attacking, for example, there from the room run up, then you can put this value more, so that he accelerated with 500 units, and played further animation. Sound accompaniments. This is the length of the attack trace itself. So, if we put, for example, 500, you can see. This is necessary so that if you want to set, for example, spear, or vice versa, short legs, zazzle. These options are necessary for this. This is the delay between attacks. It is equal to 0.5 seconds, but there is also a small random. For long-range attacks there are these settings. I recommend that you familiarize yourself with them in a separate guide dedicated to this asset. That's all for now, I think. In the next video I will show you more interesting options with long-range attacks. And we still need to make a bend in the back of the NPS, so that he hit not only directly in front of him, but also could bend to his targets, and vice versa to hit up. That is, so that he does it as a character. And on this, thank you. I think that's it for now.